And let's see here. Yeah, this Corsair not going to stick around and try to do much harassment at all. There's nothing for it to harass down here. Except this Overlord that's just about to pop. And where are some Hydralisk Scourge now coming? Gonna plow right into that Corsair and take it out. And we've got Zerglings and Overlords camping out at expansion spots for the Protoss. The Zerg really wants to know when those expansions are going to be coming up. Got a Templar Archive, and the Protoss is on how many gateways now? 4, that's a 5th coming up. Counting this one here at the expansion. And again, a lot of speed, a lot of Zealots. Let's just check the Citadel and see if speed is researched. Almost. And that +1 has kicked in. Speed's about to come up. And he's going for another of these pure speed lot attacks. And this is looking pretty okay. Let's just check quickly, if I can get to it, on the Hydralisk Den. And we've got Lurkers halfway done. So this could, in fact, be a bit of a timing attack, though this Sim City could be useful if this gap here gets plugged. Otherwise, the Zealots could run in there. But the Zealots are not seeming to commit. They were waiting for a few reinforcements, and now they're on the way. Not huge Hydralisk numbers, but a decent number of Zerglings. But it has... wow, I thought those were Lurker eggs. That could have been a bit embarrassing. That's an Overlord. But yeah, this is still not going to be the easiest thing for Protoss to break directly, but... oh wow, look at all of these Sunkens for Harlekuin. He is really intent on defending this base, but the Zealots are able to run right around the other side and get range on this hatchery. He could actually suicide his Zealots to take this out at this point, and it looks like that's exactly what he's going to do. Hatch goes down. Now the Zealots can try to run out of range of this Sunken. The Hydralisk Den not exposed, so it doesn't look like sniping tech is going to be all that easy. And some more drones being built on the creep with those remaining larvae. So it's a pretty decent attack from the Protoss, but what's more important still is what's happening back at home. He's got +2 weapons coming up, and he's gotten his first 2 Templars. So this is looking a lot like the first game in terms of army composition, going Zealot Templar before anything else. And here's the robotics facility. That's going to be a little bit late because Lurkers are already done upgrading, though. Haven't spotted any morphing yet. But there's a Lurker under this Overlord here, so there are some Lurkers on the field. And the observatory is going to be like a little bit late, but there's some Templar. They might even have Storm, but... and Templar energy upgrading, so presumably Storm's already done. And the Protoss is taking a third. And Zerg isn't looking like they're going to be able to push out and do very much about this in a big hurry. And so there's going to be a confrontation across this bridge, and the Protoss are going to be on the run. Protoss has to protect those Templars. Smace, again, leaving his Templars out in the field. Nice storm there, though, to clear out a bunch of Zerglings, but this is a good exchange for the Zerg. Those Templars are key to keeping the Hydralisk numbers down. And Smace is going off 2 gas, and he will have a third once this base gets operational, but for now he's kind of limited in the number of Templars that he can put out, and, well, he needs them. Zerg going on 3 gas once this expansion comes back up is going to be able to keep the Lurkers and Hydralisks building and make that tech switch to mutas that we didn't see the Zerg player do last game. He just didn't have time with the mass gate strategy that Protoss was employing. This time, let's just see, have we got any more gateways coming up? There's gateway number 6, but this isn't something like 7 gateways before taking a third, so now Protoss, the Zerg rather, might be able to make that Mutalisk switch happen. Big horde of Zerglings moving across the map toward... I was going to think it was going to be toward this third that the Protoss has taken, but that's not where they were going. And now the Zerglings are kind of filing in piecemeal. Meanwhile, back at the bridge, Protoss are held back for now, but the Zerg advance is kind of stalled as well. Some decent storms there are thinning out the lurker line, but nonetheless, it's not clear that the Protoss are going to be able to break in. Meanwhile, this Zergling offensive is going to be pushed back by these many cannons, well, the 4 of them there. And Smace at this stage of the game is just sitting on a ton of minerals, enough to throw down all of these cannons and continue pumping units out of these gateways, except that he has 3 of them idling. He's got a shuttle building. He might be going for some more Dark Templar shenanigans. But yeah, the macro there slipping a little bit for Smace following that battle. But we've got a couple of DTs building, and so we might see a similar kind of drop. We've got a spore colony behind that sunken line. That's a good idea. And let's just check out the coverage of the Zerg base against a DT drop. Tons of overlords here, but not very much else. And in the main, just an overlord. It's gonna be interesting to see what kind of damage that Dark Templar drop can do. Meanwhile, pretty soon, speak of the devil, just as I was going to say that, pretty soon Smace can start adding on yet more gateways, and that's going to bring his count up to 10. And the Zerg player Harlekuin is finally able to expand, but it's going to be difficult for him to hold this. I mean, the Zerg technically isn't contained because they're on the other side of this bridge, but it isn't going to be too... if the Protoss are able to keep reinforcing this, it isn't going to be too hard to keep Zerg pinned back and unable to defend this expansion very effectively. Meanwhile, Protoss moving in again. There's an observer with the army this time, and a good number of Dragoons. Rather few Zealots, though. A little bit of a miss with those storms. And the mass Zerglings, not a terrible idea, but the timing of this flank just not going to be quite enough. If those Zerglings arrived about 15 seconds earlier, they might have been able to do some pretty significant damage. Smace's army is being kind of herded away, but this trade of armies definitely benefits him rather than Harlekuin the Zerg. Because look at the production capacity in the Protoss base. Now these gateways are pumping Dragoons. Zealots out of these, Zealots out of these. It's really only keeping about 8 of these gateways running, and that's still quite a decent number. One thing I'm surprised that that Smace didn't do is morph some Archons with this Zergling heavy composition. Yes, Storm is useful, but it hasn't been very much Hydralisk. It's been a lot of Lurker Ling into this stage of the game. And Archons will be okay against that as well.